This is my CBS Chicago 10 p.m. to 10:45 viewing at 11:16:19. So we're looking at the chapters Race and Gender in Sports and Achieving Excellence in Crime Coverage with our excellence journalism equation there at the top. Book ideas I was looking out for. This quote, many news organizations have guidelines on race, should be used to describe people. Stories, when it comes down to, is it pertinent to the story? Crime receives most local news coverage, which I did find in the case, at least in my viewing. It did not view the entire hour. Other than the weather, many communities, the coverage does not reflect the amount of crime that occurs, especially as it relates to communities of color. Then one more for sports. Participation in contemporary sports by African American has risen, even though African American men have achieved equality in terms of playing for intercollegiate and professional teams. They continue to remain subject to deferential treatment by media that cover these sports. So with those goals in mind, this is what I saw. First half hour was crime, with 2 interludes of weather coverage. Next was sports catch-ups and solo talks from a few highlight players and head coaches. There was nothing really political. It was really just recap news, quick news stories with many highlights. Political stories were Kaepernick's training and potential to join the Bears as a tight end, and Trump. Schiff was shown speaking, Trump was shown tweeting, no one but Kaepernick was shown talking about the issues he was talking about. I never once heard the word black or white used in the entire crime coverage, which again was the majority of what I saw. Even in terror stories like shooting at a high school football game with video content of the incident, something pretty salacious. Discussion was not an aspect of this news hour. It was far too fast and recap in nature. Race didn't seem to be important to any of the robberies, murders, and fentanyl drug busts that were covered. So many locals in the neighborhood crime stories speaking to the cameras. And for the impeachment hearings, they showed just like both sides, sort of Trump's tweets, a few people testifying whether or not they're pro or against Trump, just people who were speaking, essentially. So did this 45 minutes reach excellent journalism standards? They touched upon both chapters in the 45 minutes. I feel like the crime coverage covered a lot of different crimes, a lot of different styles of showing those crimes. They had people on the ground talking to those mourning, those who were there. They had CCTV clippings, like street camera footage. And the individuals who committed the crimes were never showed, not their faces, even if they were in custody at the current point of the recapping of the events. Big city home teams of sports were covered. No women's sports were recapped. I think there was maybe something a little bit on I think an Auburn player like dislocated his hip or something, which is a college football team. I felt the news recap, whatever stories garnered the most views, pretty much. You could ask yourself, is that proportional? Because I feel like they hit everything in the equation. Maybe arguably, but proportionality. But, when you're covering news in an hour, proportionality was hard. Especially, when it comes to the reading and, some of the readings are there's just pages and pages about proportionality almost, and how that feeds into context, complexity, and the authenticity of those coverages. I feel like proportionality is like the base root of a lot of the book stories. That's arguable, but I feel like for the most part, yes, this was excellent journalism. It's pretty much just a recap hour. Yeah, I feel like they stood pretty close to the values the book shared with us as students. Thank you for watching.